No teacher ever taught this rule. No parent ever said it out loud. But every poor kid in that town knew it by heart, the same way they knew when winter was coming or when the well ran dry behind the schoolhouse. Never let anyone see what you were given for free. He kept his hand behind his back the whole walk to school that morning, fingers curled tight around a small paper ticket, crumpled so tightly that nobody could read the one word printed across it. Free. His friend stood the same way beside him, back turned, head down, hiding the exact same kind of ticket. Neither boy looked at the other. They didn't need to. The rule was too well known between them for that. Learned the hard way, long before either of them understood why it mattered so much. Whatever came next for these two boys, it would happen exactly the way it always did. Quietly, without a single word, right at the edge of that schoolyard fence. The rule started long before either boy could remember. In kitchens and church basements across town, where women stood behind long tables handing out bowls of soup and slices of bread to any child who lined up and admitted they had nothing. It was meant to help. And it did help, in the way that keeping a child fed always helps. But something about standing in that line, in front of the whole school, in front of neighbors who might tell your father, made the help feel like a public confession. So children learned to take what they were given quickly, fold it small, and carry it the rest of the day as if it were nothing at all. Not hidden because it was shameful to need it. Hidden because everyone around them had decided, without ever discussing it, that needing it should look like not needing anything. It became a quiet performance every single child learned early, without a single adult ever sitting them down to explain the rules of it. The volunteer behind that table had seen him nearly every day for a month, yet she never said his name, never asked why he always came alone. She simply nodded once, the way she nodded to every child in line, and turned to the next small hand waiting behind him. He walked away the same way he always did, hands already busy, eyes fixed on the fence at the far end of the yard where his friend would be standing. They had done this together since the leaves first fell that year, though neither could say when it stopped being rare and became simply a habit. Once, another boy nearly caught them at that fence, and for 3 days, neither spoke a word to each other at school, certain the whole town somehow knew. But the boy never mentioned it again, and slowly the two of them returned to their spot, trusting that some secrets were safer kept between two people than one. Historians studying Depression-era relief records found the same pattern in city after city, from rural schoolhouses to crowded urban ones. Ticket counts were carefully tracked, meals given, weekly costs, numbers that still survive in dusty ledgers. What rarely survived was any record of how children felt carrying those tickets home, because no form ever asked, and no adult thought it belonged there. A few teachers wrote it down anyway, in private diaries, describing children who flinched at the sound of paper, checking their pockets before recess. One teacher in a small Kansas town wrote that her students had taught themselves a quiet, nobody asked them to learn, and doubted her own lessons mattered half as much. It was, in her words, an education of their own making. What this rule really protected wasn't the ticket itself. It was something smaller and easier to miss. Two boys still allowed to stand at a fence and talk about nothing, at least until the bell called them back inside. The rule gave them that. A way to take what they needed without becoming, even for one recess, the poorest kid in anyone else's eyes. No one ever sat them down to explain it. No one needed to. They simply understood, the way children often understand, the things adults never say aloud. Somewhere along that fence, between one crumpled ticket and the next, two boys built something that outlasted the hunger itself. A friendship built entirely on knowing when to look away. Decades later, neither man could recall a single test he took in that schoolhouse. But both remembered exactly where that fence used to stand.